90% of people stay trapped in their old reality. But if you understand this, you'll be in the 5% who escape. Let that sink in. It's a radio station you've been listening to for so long, you've forgotten you have the power to turn the dial. Right now, existing simultaneously around you, are an infinite number of parallel realities, an infinite spectrum of other stations, all broadcasting different versions of your life story. A version where you are wildly abundant. A version where you are deeply, soulfully loved. A version where you are overflowing with vibrant, creative energy. They are all vibrating, right now, just beyond the thin, permeable veil of your current perception, waiting not to be created, but to be tuned into. And yet, why do most of us remain locked inside a single, repeating, frustrating loop, waking up to the same quiet dread, living out the same self-sabotaging patterns, getting the same disappointing results, and going to bed each night with the same desperate, aching yearn for more? We pace back and forth inside the invisible walls of our reality, wondering why nothing ever changes, not realizing we are the ones projecting the prison walls from within. So let's shatter a fundamental, life-altering illusion right now. You are not stuck because of fate, destiny, or bad luck. You are stuck for one simple, scientific reason. Your entire system, your mind, your body, your emotional state, your energetic frequency, is still powerfully attuned, calibrated, and locked onto the frequency of your old timeline. You cannot break free by merely wishing for a new song to play. You cannot escape by forcing the dial with brute willpower. And you most certainly cannot trick the quantum field by pretending you hear music you have not yet tuned into. True transformation isn't about manifesting harder. It's about stepping into a new state of being so completely, so coherently, that the quantum field, in its perfect, impartial mirroring of your inner world, has no choice but to change the station and broadcast back a different reality. Let me explain why everything you've been taught about manifestation might be the very thing holding you back. Most people believe it is rooted in the energy of desire, wanting something so intensely that the universe is compelled to deliver it. But here's the truth few will tell you. In the quantum realm, the frequency of intense wanting is biochemically and vibrationally identical to the frequency of not having. Desire, by its very nature, screams, "I lack this," into the field. This is why, even if you are reciting all the right affirmations, crafting beautiful vision boards, and performing daily visualizations, you may still be broadcasting the deafening signal of your old timeline. Why? Because manifestation is not a game played by your conscious mind. It's a full-body, full-system orchestra. And while your conscious mind, a single hopeful flute, is playing a quiet tune of, "I want abundance, I want love," your subconscious mind, the entire string, brass, and percussion section, is broadcasting deep-seated, powerful patterns of fear, doubt, and scarcity learned in your childhood. Your nervous system, biochemically addicted to the familiar rush of old emotional loops like anxiety and frustration, is playing the relentless war drums of your past. And here is the most paradigm-shifting part. The quantum field responds to the dominant signal, not the loudest conscious wish. Let that sink into every cell. The dominant signal emanates from your full system vibration. That is why you can say, "I am wealthy," 1,000 times. But if your body physically contracts with anxiety every time you look at a bill, the field registers the contraction, not the affirmation. That is why you can visualize love all day. But if your heart remains emotionally armored, the field registers isolation, not connection. This is the very trap that keeps people spinning. They believe change begins externally, but true timeline attunement begins internally. You must become the version of you that already inhabits the desired timeline. Not someday. Not when the evidence arrives. Now. And this is where it gets truly fascinating. Quantum physics reveals that all possibilities exist simultaneously as waves in the field of potential. When you shift your energetic signature, you are not creating something from nothing. You are using your personal frequency as a tuning fork to resonate with and collapse into the version of reality that was waiting for you all along. This is why the great masters of energy, from mystics to inventors, have spoken about the power of frequency and harmonics. Nikola Tesla famously said, "If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe." He was pointing to this deep truth. Reality is a symphony, and you are its conductor. So the real question is, who do I need to become vibrationally to align with the timeline where everything I desire already exists? And becoming is not faking. It is a full body, full system, energetic recalibration. This is the foundation of true creation. And in this video, I will not only explain this to you, I will show you the path. We will first uncover the invisible anchors that are keeping you locked in your old timeline. Then I will give you the embodiment key, the missing link to shifting your frequency. And finally, I will share with you the mastery protocol for making this new timeline your permanent home. If you are ready to stop being a passive listener to an old, tired song and become the active composer of your new reality, then your journey begins now. So, let's talk about the real reason people don't shift timelines. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the invisible architecture of our own self-sabotage. It is not, and I repeat, it is not a lack of desire or a weakness of willpower. The truth is far more primal, far more biological than that. We don't shift because we remain energetically entangled with the version of ourselves that is perfectly wired to survive the old timeline. Think of this old self not as an enemy, but as a loyal but deeply misguided bodyguard. Its only job is to keep you safe, and to it, safe means familiar. Safe means what has kept us alive thus far. Your conscious mind may be screaming for expansion, for love, for abundance, but this ancient part of you, your subconscious, sees progress as a terrifying, unknown territory, a threat to the very survival it has worked so hard to maintain. And this loyal bodyguard doesn't need your conscious permission to keep replaying the old timeline. It just needs your unconscious participation. Every time you react with that familiar flash of anger, every time you tell that same limiting story about your finances or your relationships, every time you expect the same disappointing outcome from a new opportunity, you are casting a vote for the past. You are reinforcing the signal. Imagine a deep neural groove carved into the landscape of your brain. Every time you walk that path of familiar thought and feeling, you deepen that trench. Soon, that trench becomes a canyon, so deep and so automatic that you no longer realize you are choosing it. You are no longer choosing your timeline. It is choosing you. And here is where the breathtaking intersection of quantum physics and modern neuroscience gives us the ultimate key. The observer effect in quantum physics tells us that the act of observation, of putting your attention on something, collapses a wave of infinite potential into a single, fixed particle of reality. But you are not just observing with your eyes or your conscious mind. You are observing with your deep-seated beliefs, your stored emotions, and your core expectations about how the world works. Now add the neuroscience. A staggering 95% of your daily thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions are driven by the subconscious mind, the vast, powerful operating system that stores all of your childhood conditioning, your unresolved traumas, your core beliefs about your worthiness, and your very patterns of identity. Let that land for a moment. You are trying to manifest a new reality from the tiny 5% of you that is conscious and aware, while the colossal 95% of you is still tuned to the frequency of fear, lack, distrust, and survival. It's like trying to change the course of a massive supertanker with a single paddle. The quantum field, being impartial and obedient, always responds to the dominant broadcast. So, when people say, manifestation doesn't work for me, what they are really saying, without realizing it, is, I have not yet shifted the internal 95% subconscious observer that is perpetually collapsing my old reality into form. This is the root of the loop. This is why you can change your job, change your partner, or change your city, and still find yourself recreating the exact same emotional patterns and frustrations. Because nothing external has the power to override an internal frequency that has not been fundamentally recalibrated. The timeline cannot shift if the observer has not. So, what is the anchor holding this old observer in place? In one word, resistance. And resistance is the sneakiest saboteur of all. It shows up as overthinking, the mind's brilliant strategy to create the illusion of control while avoiding the terrifying vulnerability of actually taking a step. It shows up as procrastination, which is not laziness, but your nervous system's way of protecting you from the perceived threat of failure or even the terror of success. It shows up as emotional numbness, the ultimate emergency brake your body pulls to avoid feeling an emotion so overwhelming your system believes it might shatter you. But all of these forms of resistance boil down to one core, cellular belief held deep within your body. Your system believes it is safer to stay where you are, even if you're miserable, than to leap into the glorious unknown of your potential. That belief is not just a thought. It lives in your somatic memory. Stored trauma, suppressed grief from a decade ago, inherited fears from your family line. They are all encoded in the very tissues of your body, in the tone of your nervous system. That is why you can know something intellectually. I am worthy of love. I am capable of success, but still be utterly unable to live it. That is why your affirmations feel hollow, and your visualizations fade the moment you open your eyes. The resistance isn't in your mindset, it's in your biochemistry. When your nervous system is dysregulated, when it is stuck in that low-grade fight or flight, it is constantly broadcasting a signal of threat and danger to the quantum field, even when your mouth is saying, I am safe and abundant. And this energetic contradiction, this internal civil war, is what keeps collapsing the same limited outcomes again and again. It's not personal, it's physics. You are a frequency generator embedded in a responsive field. And for years, perhaps your entire life, you have been unconsciously broadcasting the same old pattern, for so long that you have mistaken that pattern for who you truly are. But the good news, the most liberating news of all, is this. You don't have to fight that old pattern. You just have to make a new choice. You just have to stop feeding it your precious energy and attention. So I want you to ask yourself, with radical honesty, where are you still broadcasting the frequency of fear while consciously declaring your faith? Where are you still bracing your body for rejection while asking the universe for connection? Where are you still trying to attract abundance while feeling, in your bones, unworthy of receiving it? These are the subtle contradictions, the invisible anchors that keep timelines from shifting. And acknowledging them is the first step toward pulling them up, once and for all. And so we arrive at the very heart of the mystery, the part of the journey most people never reach. It is not because the path is hidden behind some secret door, but because the door is so wide open, so elegantly simple, that in their search for complex solutions, they walk right past it. Let this truth land in every cell of your body. Shifting timelines isn't about fighting harder, thinking more positively, or forcing the quantum field to obey your commands. It's about aligning so completely with the version of you who already lives the reality you desire that the old timeline can no longer contain you. You become vibrationally incompatible with your old problems. You simply outgrow them. Think of the quantum field as a vast, silent ocean of potential. Every timeline, every version of you, and every outcome already exists within that ocean as a distinct wave of possibility. When you align, when you observe reality from a coherent, whole, and unwavering state, you collapse a particular wave into the form you call your life. But here is the key, the master secret of all creation. You don't collapse the wave by desperately wanting it. You collapse the wave by matching its frequency. And matching is not just a mental exercise. That is where the old paradigm failed. Matching is emotional. It's physical. It's vibrational. It is the unique, unmistakable song your entire system hums when you are in a state of deep coherence. The quantum field is a resonant chamber. It doesn't judge your song, it simply amplifies whatever you are broadcasting. So why do so many of us struggle to match the new timeline? Because we try to get there by thinking about it. We intellectualize the shift. We read the books. We watch the videos. We gather the knowledge. And we say to ourselves, I know abundance is my birthright. I know love is possible. But let me be clear. Knowing is not enough. Knowing is reading the map. It is not the journey. Your body needs to know. Your nervous system needs to know. Your breath, your posture, your daily habits, your very sense of identity. They all need to begin broadcasting the new unified signal. I am now the version of me who belongs in this new timeline. This is where embodiment comes in. Embodiment is not a trendy buzzword. It is the missing link. It is the sacred conscious practice of inhabiting your desired frequency before the external world gives you a single reason or permission to do so. It is the ultimate act of creative faith. Let's make this real. Let's move it from a concept to a living reality.
If you're shifting into an abundance timeline, you know the old frequency, the clenched jaw, the shallow breath, the contracted feeling in your stomach when you think about money. The embodiment of the new timeline is not about buying a lottery ticket, it's about consciously relaxing your jaw.
It's about taking a deep, calming breath before you open a bill. It's about feeling the physical posture of trust in your body, shoulders back, chest open, as you circulate your resources with a sense of flow, not panic. You are teaching your body, on a cellular level, what I am provided for feels like. If you're shifting into a love timeline, you know the old frequency, the energetic walls, the armored heart, the subtle leaning away from true intimacy. The embodiment of the new timeline is not about perfecting your dating profile. It's about practicing emotional permeability when your first instinct is to shut down. It's the courageous act of breathing into the armor around your heart until it softens, just a little. It's about choosing to offer a kind word when your old self would have used sarcasm as a shield. You are shifting from the frequency of searching for a savior to the powerful magnetic frequency of being the sanctuary. If you're shifting into a health timeline, you know the old frequency, the constant, anxious scanning of your body for new symptoms, the inner dialogue of criticism. The embodiment of the new timeline is not just about eating a salad. It's about treating your body as if it is already healing and regenerating. It's choosing your food with respect, moving your body with gratitude for its incredible intelligence, and resting with the deep, cellular knowing that you are a miracle of regeneration. Every healthy choice becomes a vote for your new timeline. Do you see the profound pattern? You don't wait for the timeline to shift to start living differently. You start living differently, and the timeline shifts to match you. This is why so many manifestation efforts fail. They are conditional. I'll feel grateful when I get the job. I'll feel loved when I find the relationship. I'll relax when my body is healed. But the quantum field is not a transactional banker waiting for you to make a deposit. It isn't testing you, it's reflecting you instantaneously. The version of you who has what you desire isn't waiting for you in some distant future. That version of you exists right now as a vibrant, accessible frequency. The only question is, will you have the courage to tune to it? We live in an age where it is easy to consume knowledge, gather techniques, and binge-watch videos, yet never truly integrate the wisdom. Because consuming information feels like progress. But true progress only happens when the body, the breath, and our daily actions begin to match the information. So, how do we bring timeline attunement into daily life? First, understand the principle of micro-alignment. Most people think shifting timelines requires massive, dramatic changes, but quantum reality responds to coherence, not size. A small act, done with pure, aligned intention, can carry more vibrational weight than a giant, frantic gesture performed from a place of desperation. Let's break this into simple, living examples. Shifting toward abundance. Your practice might be breathing deeply when scarcity thoughts arise, amplifying the signal of "I have enough," or spending money with presence and trust rather than panic. Shifting toward love. Your practice might be opening your posture when you want to shrink, reaching out with kindness instead of withdrawing in self-protection, or speaking words of affection even when it feels edgy. Shifting toward health. Your practice might be tuning into the subtle sensations of vitality already present in your body, or catching the inner dialogue of criticism and consciously shifting it to one of support. These small acts are quantum keys. They broadcast to the field, "This is who I am now," not who I'm trying to become someday, but who I have decided to be today. But here's the part most people miss. The practice is not about perfection. It's about your capacity to return. You will wobble. You will fall back into old loops. The power isn't in never slipping. The power is in how quickly you recenter. Every time you notice yourself slipping and gently guide yourself back, you strengthen the new timeline. Remember, no tool works without embodied participation. You cannot outsource your transformation to a ritual. The ritual works because you work the ritual. We are now at the final step of this journey, sustaining the shift. Because the quantum field doesn't care if you visit the new timeline once. It reshapes around you when you live there. Most people approach manifestation as a single event. They visualize, they affirm, they wait. When results don't appear instantly, they collapse back into the old frequency, not realizing that the true transformation is in staying. Sustainability is the master key of timeline attunement. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to feel good all the time. It means developing the emotional and energetic capacity to return, again and again, to your chosen state of alignment. Every time you wobble and come back, you strengthen the signal. Every time you notice an old loop pulling at you and gently choose the new timeline instead, you reinforce the shift. This is mastery. You are learning to become the quantum signal that collapses the wave, not occasionally, but as a way of being. Here is a simple roadmap. Daily attunement. Start your day not with a to-do list, but with a tuning. Ask, what frequency am I choosing to embody today? Am I carrying fear or trust? Am I expecting struggle or flow? Embodied action. Throughout your day, practice micro-alignments. Notice when your actions match your desired timeline and when they don't. Emotional regulation. You will get triggered. This is human. The power lies not in avoiding it, but in returning. Breathe. Ground yourself. Reconnect with the version of you who is already whole. Community and symbols. Surround yourself with reminders that anchor you into coherence. Stay close to communities and voices that reinforce your chosen timeline. Let your external world become an ally. Gratitude as an amplifier. Gratitude is the emotional signature of already having. When you practice it, you signal to the quantum field, I am aligned, I am receptive, I am whole. This amplifies the coherence of your field. Remember, you are not doing this to get somewhere. You are doing this because this is the somewhere. You are not chasing a timeline. You are becoming it. I want to thank you for walking this journey with me. The real magic is in what you do next. So here is a living invitation. In the next 24 hours, surprise yourself. Do one thing, a choice, a gesture, a conversation that belongs to the version of you living in your desired timeline. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. And when you do it, know this. You are no longer waiting for change. You are the change. If this video has stirred something in you, I invite you to subscribe. You are not just following a channel. You are stepping into a space where these kinds of awakenings are our baseline, where we continue to raise the frequency together. Thank you for your presence, your energy, and for daring to become more of who you truly are. And now, I want to leave you with a challenge. Type the word alignment in the comments below. Why? Because when you declare it here, you lock it into your timeline. And here's the reward. Every single time someone else types it, your signal strengthens too. This isn't just engagement, it's amplification. You're not doing it alone. You're doing it with all of us. If you're ready to stay in this frequency, subscribe now. This channel is your anchor.